All right, so we are going to get started with talking about the characters in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Last few chapters, we have been introduced to a bunch of very unique and I think they're pretty funny characters. So you're going to go to the slideshow and it shows you what pages that you will be doing this on. They are at the back of your duotang or your booklet, okay? So you have the ones that are very similar to, well, they're the same as the ones that I have here. So let's take a look at Mike TV. We got been introduced to him, and we are given 4 different compartments where we're going to write different things. So we have our description over here. So our description and then quotes. So our description is just describing what Mike TV is like. So what kind of words would we put there? Well, he loves to watch TV. He loves guns and violence. Um, he's pretty rude. He's telling everyone in the room to be quiet, right? So we would write those things down here. And characteristics about him, description of him. And then quotes. A quotation or a quote is when we find a certain piece of um, literature or a sentence about that person. So I'll show you a good example of a quote in a little bit, okay? So for Mike TV, you would fill in these different things. Then on the next one, we have actions and feelings. So what they do would be the actions, and feeling is how they are feeling, right? So let's take a look at Charlie, because he's the character that we know best so far. So Charlie Bucket. Well, we know that he is beginning to look like a skeleton, so he's getting pretty skinny. He's a small boy. So I just wrote a couple things down. You guys probably have more description of him. And then we have our quotes. So his grandpa Joe says this, he's a fine little fellow, right? So I took what was exactly written down in the book and I copied it here. So that's what a quotation is. When you copy it word for word and you make sure that the quotation marks are on either side. And a quotation is exactly that. It's just word for word from the book. This is one time where copying is actually allowed, right? So have fun. Find some good quotes about the different characters. And then we have actions. So what does he do throughout the book? Well, he smells the chocolate on his way home from school. And I guess on his way to school as well. Every time he passes the factory, he stops and slows down, tries to drink the air in. And throughout the book, he's feeling hungry with all that cabbage soup he's eating. He's also hopeful, right? Once he hears about the golden ticket. So throughout the book, we're going to continue adding to these different things. Let's also look at Willy Wonka. We don't know much about him. We know that he's clever. In the next few chapters, depending on where you are, you're going to learn a lot more about him. And then let's look at Grandpa Joe. We know he's 96 and a half years old and as shriveled as a prune. Let's try to find a quote about him as well. So throughout the book, we're going to stop every now and then and fill in these different quadrants, these different sections of each of the characters. And there's lots more characters. As we go down, there's Augustus Gloop. He's a large, greedy boy. He eats all the time. Here's a quotation straight from the book. His face was like a monstrous ball of dough with 2 small, greedy, curranty eyes peering out upon the world. So once again, I copied that straight from the book and I put quotation marks around it so you know that it is a quote straight from the book. Yeah, so that's it. Your guys' time to shine.